This is wildlife biologist Eric Orr for What's Wild in New Hampshire. Today I'm at the Loon Preservation Center in, is this Moultonborough? Moultonborough. Yeah, I've been here a number of times, given a number of lectures, and I'm with John. John, what's your last name, John?
Cooley.
Cooley. All right, John. He's going to give us the lowdown on how the New Hampshire loons fare this summer, the summer of 2021. John, tell us, how did things go? Are the loon numbers up or down, stable? And what are some of the risk factors our loons still have here in New Hampshire? And, how'd they do?
Eric, thanks for the question. Thanks for stopping by. The loon numbers this summer there was a little bit of both, some good news, some bad news. The good news is that we counted a few more pairs of loons in New Hampshire than we did last year. And last year that was true as well. So what we're seeing since the 1970s is this very slow, intensively managed recovery of the population back towards, we interviewed the old timers in the 1970s on Winnipesaukee, and they estimate there might have been 40 pairs of loons.
Wow.
Back 100 years ago.
So what have the numbers changed, say, since then?
So this year we had just over 30 pairs of loons on Winnipesaukee, and we had 326 pairs of loons around the state.
What was the low number? Do you remember?
Roughly 100 pairs of loons.
Really? So triple what that was back
we
then.
Approximately tripled the population. Nice. We were, as we started up in the 70s, we were figuring out where all the loons were initially. But as by the time 1980 rolled around, we were counting about 100 pairs of loons a year. And so we're headed in the right direction.
Nice. I know Harry Vogel, back when I was still a fishing game commissioner, sent me the loon plan. And, we have more habitat that is available to our loons. So this growth doesn't have to stop.
Absolutely. We count loons on the lakes where they are, and we also check the lakes that are suitable habitat. There's probably, we're better than halfway towards carrying capacity.
Okay.
But probably not much better than that. So we counted probably 100 lakes this year that we surveyed.
Potential.
That didn't have any loons on yet.
Okay,
so,
all right.
There's lots of lakes left out there. Yeah.
Now, is loons still being impacted by lead? I mean, New Hampshire Wildlife Federation, our members are the state's sportswomen and men, are fishermen and hunters, and how good a job are we doing? Should we? what do we have to fix?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I know we've done a lot of outreach, and you talk to anglers on the lake, and they're usually really well aware of the problem, the easy fix, and in their tackle box is non-lead safe, loon safe material. Right?
Very readily available now.
Right.
Yep.
So generally, I think the word has gotten out there, and people are really doing a good job, and it makes sense. It's easy. So
still losing some.
We are still seeing it as actually the number one problem still for loons in New Hampshire, regrettably. We're hoping that we'll start to see it taper off, but this year we had 7 confirmed cases of lead poisoning. I believe there's an 8th case, and what we're careful to do is we necropsy the loon, is we get a radiograph so we can see the metal object.
Yep.
We test the metal object for lead, and then we're looking at it to see whether it's a jig or a sinker, or we're weighing it. And the ones that we've been collecting are not legal to, they're small enough that they shouldn't be in the lake.
They shouldn't be in the lake, okay.
And we're getting them in the loon with a fish hook or some tackle fragments that indicate current use, So it could be somebody from Massachusetts coming up who's not aware of the New Hampshire law, or from out of state, or Grandpa's old tackle box. What we're wanting to make sure people know about is the lead tackle exchange, the lead tackle buyback program that's underway. So there's a lot of.
I've seen the containers around.
There's maybe a dozen bait shops around the state, and if you go in with your lead tackle, you can get a voucher for safe material. Purchase it on the spot.
How about for ice fishing? Is there much a concern? I mean, I would think if you break a fish off in the wintertime, you had lead on there, it's going to be there.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's we get a few cases in the winter that may have been holdovers from the summer, or the
of course our lakes freeze up, so the loons are on the ocean in the winter.
Yeah, But yeah, year round for loons, the safer,
Yeah.
non-lead is what you want to be using. And it's still as far as, because adult loons are so long lived, it's still the biggest problem that we see, the biggest risk factor. The other thing we saw this summer was, I mean, anybody who was in New Hampshire in July knows how rainy it was.
Oh yeah, the lakes came up quick.
Yeah, so we lost a lot of nests to flooding, and June, that was the wettest July on record,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And June was one of the hottest, like the
Yeah,
third
yeah.
hottest since 1860, whatever.
Climate change.
Yeah, and
Droughts and floods.
yeah,
Climate change.
We had a couple adult loons, female loons, that were on the nest and were collected as mortalities and died of avian malaria.
Okay.
And that's
So this is another disease by the warming of New Hampshire.
Yeah, it's something
Wow.
that we're seeing now more often than we had seen in the past, and we're really working actively to try and figure out whether that's because we're looking harder now or not, but
Okay.
it appears to be a real trend.
Huh. Wow.
And it's obviously an emerging concern.
All right. Yep.
So,
Now our eagle numbers are up, and I know some of them have enjoyed to dine on on loons. Has there been what do you have? Something like 80 pairs of bald eagles this summer in New Hampshire, and with 70 something successful.
Recovery, right? The eagle population is really rebounding happily. It's
Yep.
amazing to be out on the lakes now.
Unbelievable,
and see
yep.
them so frequently. It's awesome. And yeah, there's a lot.
Have they really impacted the loons any sense?
To date, we have not seen a significant impact, and we don't see that in our data.
Okay,
So
good.
there's usually a lot of fireworks when loons and eagles are close to each other.
Yeah, okay.
You hear the loons calling.
Oh yeah,
You'll see the eagle dive bomb, but
they're pretty good defenders of their young.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay,
yeah,
all right. I'm
so
just
a lot-
curious. That was
a lot of near misses.
a thought in my mind.
Yeah. In other parts of North America, like the upper Midwest or out in the Pacific Northwest, where there's really abundant eagle populations, thousands of eagles in Washington State, it really is a problem for
Okay.
loons. So that may be down
Yeah.
the road for us.
Yeah, okay.
But we'll take that. That's what we're working for.
Yep.
It's the day when eagles are the worst thing loons have to worry about.
Isn't that nice? Wouldn't that be nice? As
Yeah.
bad as it would be for all the loon lovers, the eagle lovers, we're good with that.
But as the eagle biologist at Audubon, Chris Martin says, it's an age-old battle, right?
Yep,
And the loons can handle
Yeah, they evolved with eagles, didn't they?
Absolutely.
We're quite successful. So some great news. Our loons continue to rebound at a very slow pace, but they're on the upward trend, and it has been that way for more than a decade at least, close to 20 years, I guess. Yeah, or more. Hey, yeah, nice.
Since the 1970s.
Okay, 50 years.
Yeah, I'd point out that this year we floated a record number of loon nest revs,
Okay.
and we signed a record number of sites,
Okay.
protective warning signs.
Ah,
So we're coaxing the population along with.
a lot of work to keep our
Yeah,
loons
yeah,
and make them grow.
Yeah, and we're relying on hundreds of volunteers to do that, and the public and the angling community out on the lakes are a huge help in monitoring and in respecting the nest sites and
Yep.
helping that whole cause.
And like someone like Fishing Game and every organization, it's the volunteers that make it work, don't they?
Yeah.
John, thank you very much. I appreciate your time today. And I just was driving by, and he was kind enough to come out and talk about New Hampshire's loons, and they're doing well. John, thank you very much. This is wildlife biologist Eric Orr for What's Wild in New Hampshire.